What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi with another deck profile video. Today we are showcasing my, well, I consider this my ice-themed deck. Really, it's a glorified penguin deck. But I love this deck to death. I've been wanting to run penguins for as long as I can remember, and this is about as good as I can get it. Even though I have to use a lot of accessory cards with it, which I don't like very much, it makes the deck work. Let's get started. First off, I run 3 Flying Penguin. Now, I'd like to point out that this deck is almost completely Aqua-type water attribute in the main, so that's something you can look forward to seeing a lot of. 3 No Penguin. This card is so much fun. It ticks people off. It can resummon itself anytime a penguin monster activates its effect, but you can only summon one of it a turn that way. And as long as it's face up, any card returned from the field to the hand by the effect of a penguin monster is banished instead. 3 Cold Enchanter. I mainly use this card just to pitch No Penguin into the grave when I have it in hand, but if you do that with any card, you can place an ice counter on a monster on the field. She gains 300 attack per ice counter, so if you have a way to spam ice counters onto the field, she becomes a powerhouse, and I've done that on more than one occasion. Escher the Frost Vassal. Like I said, this deck is themed around ice, so this card fit it perfectly. If your opponent controls 2 or more cards in their spell and trap zones, you special summon him from your hand, so it's Xyz setup. 3 Nightmare Penguin. Of course, you should expect this card as penguins. When it's flipped face up, you return a card on your opponent controls to their hand. It doesn't even have to be just a monster. It can be a spell trap too, which makes this card automatically better than Penguin Soldier, even though it only gives you one choice. And as long as it's face up, you get to increase your water monster's attack points by 200. 3 Tin Goldfish. This is the non-Aqua-type monster I was telling you about. Sometimes I side this card out if I feel like just having a little bit of fun. I use a different penguin to replace it. But if I'm being serious, this card is what I will use in the main to be serious. And when it's normal summoned, you special summon a level 4 from your hand, so plenty of targets to pick from. And 3 of the Great Emperor Penguin. I've gone back and forth between 2 and 3, and 3 seems to be the most consistent. You tribute him, special summon 2 penguin monsters from your deck. Actually, it's up to 2 penguin monsters. Except himself, of course, because that would just be too good. 2 Instant Fusion, 2 MST, 2 7th One. You'll see why. 3 Transmodify. You take a monster of 1 type and attribute, trade it out for one of 1 level higher. I mainly use this to get rid of my level 4 Aquas for the level 5 Aqua of Great Emperor Penguin. 2 Unexpected Die. This is the only reason I run Flying Penguin in the first place right now, is because I'm able to pull it straight from deck with this card. If you control no monsters, you special summon a level 4 lower normal monster from your deck. 1 Bottomless. 3 Call the Haunted. This deck actually has some speed issues, so this helps with that. 2 Memory Loss. 1 Mirror Force. 1 Torrential Tribute. In the side, I have my trio of penguin soldiers, and you can see that pretty little orca of the penguin soldier. You love it, don't you? I also run 2 snowman creators. This card I went back and forth with, but I realize it's just not very good in the main. When it's summoned, doesn't matter how, you can create a number of ice counters equal to the number of water monsters you control, and you place them on face-up monsters your opponent controls. And if it places 3 or more by this effect, you get to destroy a card, so it's great setup for that engine. Also, the 3rd MST, both my Dark Hole, a couple of Salvage, 3rd Unexpected Die, Compulsory, 2 Fiendish, and Vanities. For the extra deck, my fusions of choice are Elder Entity Norden and Deep Sea Shark. 2 Grampuls. You'd think with only having 3 level 3 monsters in this entire deck that I wouldn't be able to use it very much. No, I use it quite often. Detach a material, pop a spell trap, but if you have Super Quantal attached to it as a material, it can do this during either turn, who cares? It's 2800 defense, that's mainly what I use it for. 2 Abyss Dwellers. This deck does have an issue with having low attack points, so this card kinda helps with that. 3 Ragna Zero. This is the reason 7th One's in here, of course. I love this card. I have a combo where I use it with another Xyz monster, and it takes care of pretty much any card that I want on any turn. But you detach a material during either player's turn once, and you can target a face-up attack position monster whose attack points are augmented, higher or lower, destroy it, draw a card. It's how I get my recovery back. And of course I run the 1 Ragn Affinity. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material, target a face-up monster opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the difference between its original attack and current attack, and then you banish it. So, you know, it's similar to Ragn Zero, you just don't get a draw. And if this card will be destroyed and sent to the grave while it has a material, you special summon it from your grave, and 103 has to be in your graveyard for this effect to work. It's just like how 101 works with C101. 3 Snowdust Giants. There's a 2-card combo that I was mentioning earlier using Ragn Zero. This is the other half of it. Once per turn, you detach a material, and you can place ice counters on the field equal to the number of water monsters in your hand. You have to reveal those water monsters, though. So, with this card's effect, it works like a reverse field spell. Reduce all monsters that are not water attribute for 200 attack points for each ice counter on the field. So, bare minimum, you'll get probably a 200 reduction, which means Ragn Zero goes off instantaneously during either turn. Freezadon, I mainly just use this to get that rank 5 play. If we ever get Crystal Zero, I'm planning on putting it in here in place of Freezadon, as well as Crystal Zero Lancer if we ever get that too. But it's not terrible. You detach a material on it in place of a regular Xyz material. It's good. And because I do have 2 rank 5 Xyz monsters, I do run Frozen Lady Justice. Gains 1,000 attack for each material on it when you upgrade it from another Xyz monster, but you have to detach an Xyz material from that monster to be able to summon it in the first place. So, you can detach a material from it to blow up all defenses your opponent controls. So, I kind of have a little bit of manipulation going for me. And that's the deck. This deck's actually a lot of fun for me because a lot of people don't expect me to be able to pull out 3 Xyz monsters, simultaneously without being able to pendulum summon. So, it's something that a lot of people expect. Plus, everybody remembers penguins. They were pretty early on in the show and the card game. Everybody remembers getting that first penguin soldier when you bought that structure deck from way back when. It's a lot of nostalgia that's developed over the years, and I love this deck too much to part with it. I'm going to keep working with it until I can get it to a pure concept that I'm happy with. But for now, I love what it does. This has been Nanashi, signing out.